You have in each level there are several different screens that you warp between, and destroying certain of the uh, enemy producing uh, factories, I suppose. Um, they oh, thank you for the kind. Wasn't paying attention. For the kind compliment. Um, when you destroy certain of the factories, sometimes they will show you warps, and you can warp between the different screens. And it gets to be a very much a kind of a pain, honestly, in the later levels because you will have sometimes up to seemingly 6 different screens to be warping between. And when you're trying to track down these a specific enemy that you missed to get them, it can be quite a hassle. Now, one of the things about this game that set it apart from games like Gradius is that you do not pick up your power-ups by destroying enemies. Instead, as you've probably noticed, destroying enemies gets you various types of currency. And you can use that currency to buy power-ups. And we are going to buy a couple. We're going to buy some big wings, and we are going to buy twin bombs, and we are going to buy I'm going to go ahead and buy laser beam. Now the thing about it is, here's the thing to keep in mind, that when you buy a power-up for, say, your gun, it is time-based, which means that you have 20 seconds of use from the time that you buy it. So you want to try and get as much use as you can. Thankfully, I have cleared my way to the boss, so I'll be able to use it on him. If you can get to the boss with something like the laser, it makes fighting the bosses much easier. And yes, as you can see now, my laser ability has worn off, much to my consternation. Now there are various bomb power-ups you can also pick up, which the simpler ones, like the twin bombs, are basically permanent, or well, semi-permanent power-ups. If you die, you lose all of the power-ups that you've collected. So they're not fully permanent, but they don't have a timer. They don't have a set amount of uses before they disappear. So in that sense, they are, sort of permanent, semi-permanent, I guess you could say. You can also pick up, as I picked up in the store, I picked up the big wings. And the thing about the big wings is that they allow you to move faster, as you have probably noticed. They're not hugely powerful in terms of letting you zip around, but it does make maneuvering not quite as much of a chore. Sadly, the Fantasy Zone series wouldn't last. I don't even think it lasted into the 90s. I think it only made it until the end of the 80s, and then it disappeared. And like some of Sega's other franchises, it just wound up being forgotten, like Alex Kidd. But I remember it, and it still stands out as a pretty good little shooter. Let's upgrade to the normal engine and get an extra ship. Okay. Okay, now we can move much more smoothly. And I think we'll probably need that for maybe not this boss, but certainly one of the bosses. Okay. And now I'm having to hunt down what screen I didn't clear. Okay, I came in that warp. Have I cleared them all? I have cleared them all. Okay, so now we're up against the next boss, which is this giant, I don't even know what. Not excessively difficult. I say that. Okay, there we go. I have beaten this game. Well, I've beaten. Well, okay, I'll be honest. I don't think I have legitimately beaten this game. I think I have cheated and beaten this game before. So, but I don't remember how many stages it has. Okay. Whoa. Alright. Now, one thing about it is that, as you can see, I got hit, which meant that I lost my power-ups. I'm back to just a single bomb, and I no longer have my super fancy engine. So I really need to try to locate another shop so that I can so that I can buy some more power-ups. Because power-ups, I suppose you fear. No, I take that back. I don't even think it's possible to beat this game not powered up, because at the very least you have to have a certain level of maneuverability. Because some of the bosses will kill you if you cannot move out of their way. So this is, I suppose, in many ways similar to Gradius, in that you can do fine with it, just don't die. Okay, I'm going to switch to. Guess I'll go with the jet engine. I need more speed, and I'll get a big bomb. I think those are limited though. Let's see. No, I take it back. The big bomb is not limited. The jet engine, of course, makes me move much faster, which, like most speed ups, can be a two-edged sword, because if you get to where you're moving too quickly, you can adjust and slam right into an enemy. As anyone who has played Gradius with all the speed ups can easily tell you. All right, now let's see. Okay, here's another screen. The thing about it is, in the original game, in the original arcade game, and I believe in the Master System version of the game as well, you actually had a radar which would tell you how many and where the factories that you had to destroy were. And as you can see, I got hit. You don't have that here, so you're having to kind of fly around and guess to a certain degree. Okay, that is Fantasy Zone. Okay, I could do, well, you know what, I'm going to do one more. I swear this is addictive. Still think this next one will probably be my last one, though. Let's go with a game that probably not that many people remember. This is a game that I remember from playing in the arcades, and that I absolutely loved in the arcades. Don't love it quite as much on the Master System, but I do appreciate the fact that there was a home port of it, which I wasn't even aware of until I got this game. This is Time Soldiers from Alpha Denshin Company. Now, Time Soldiers is a fun little arcade game, and I'm going to go into exactly. Okay. Is that 5 of your comrades have been captured by this evil creature, and you have to find them. Now, the whole idea is that the game takes place in a variety of different time periods, and you have to hunt down your friends in whatever time period they're trapped in, and defeat the boss to save them. Now, we start off in the primitive age. Now, the screen there was a lot of things on screen, so we didn't get a chance to cover them all. It said that my friend is trapped in the era of the World Wars. So what we have to do is we have to play through the primitive stage, or through the primitive area, until we get to a warp, which will take us to a different time zone, or a different time location, if that makes any sense whatsoever. and we will try to get to the zone that our friend is trapped in so that we can rescue them. We will then be given another friend in a different zone that we have to rescue and rinse and repeat. Now, the way that this works is that each era is divided up into about 3 or 4 segments. At the end of each segment, there is a mini-boss, and when you defeat that mini-boss, you will have access to one of the warps. So, in other words, we're going to have to play through the first segment of the primitive age so that we can get to the mini-boss, and here is the mini-boss, a Triceratops, who I can't seemingly hit with my special weapon for whatever reason. Okay, there we go. And a warp appears. If we go in that warp, it reminds us of where we're trying to get to. And it sends us to... where are we? The Age of Rome. Okay, so we're in the Age of Rome. So we're going to have to play through a segment of the Age of Rome until we get to a mini-boss, and then we're going to fight that mini-boss. And once we do that, we will have access to another warp, which will carry us to another area. And it just kind of repeats like that. Now, this game does have an ending. There are only 5 friends to rescue. And once you rescue them, you do get to go to the future zone where the final boss is waiting. I will not be beating this game, however, during this live stream because it has limited continues and I'm not terribly great at this game. So, yes. But the arcade version is incredibly fun. Now, one thing about the original arcade version that made it somewhat distinct, certainly caught my eye in the arcades, was the fact that it used a rotary joystick. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the term, a rotary joystick essentially means that you have an 8-way joystick that you can move like normal, but on top of that, you can twist and turn the joystick. So you can not only waggle the joystick, you can twist the joystick. And the whole idea was that you could use this to walk in one direction and fire in a completely different direction. And that made this game significantly easier because while you did have to think a little bit more in terms of your actions, it meant that you could attack an enemy while not approaching it, as opposed to the way it plays now, where you are required to do so. One of the things about this game is that it doesn't seem to really give you a good feeling that you are actually hitting multiple enemies that take multiple hits to destroy. Because it doesn't even look like I'm doing anything, but then it'll just explode. Now we are in the era of the World Wars, so our friend is trapped here. Now, as I said before, there are multiple segments to each time period. Now, it is possible that our friend is trapped in this particular segment, but if they're not, then we will have to continue onward until we will, for instance, if we get through to the end of this segment and fight the boss and it turns out that our friend is not there, we will have to proceed on to the next segment. We'll skip the warp, but we'll instead just proceed onward to the next segment to see if we can locate our friend. And eventually we will defeat a boss, and our friend will be waiting there for us. Almost as if they were impatient. But I can't blame, I would be upset. I would want to be rescued. I can understand that. Okay, yes. Now, if it is the segment where your friend is being held captive, after you fight the mini-boss, you will have to fight a larger boss. So if we can defeat this tank, if we can defeat this tank,